don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. I hope everyone is doing well. We are still getting sleep. Well, not getting sleep, we're resting from having just a fantastic time at the One Africa Power and Unity Conference in Detroit, Michigan. In honor of Detroit, Michigan, and Dr. Ken Harris and Dr. Motley, I'm wearing my Detroit versus everybody sweatshirt. It's hot as hell, but it's okay. You do everything for the gram. This right here. How you doing, Taki?
I'm good. Just excited. Still dealing with the positive feedback and the positive energy we got in Detroit. Detroit's definitely a lovely place, and was happy to be there amongst everyone. Just want to make a quick announcement to people who are calling the number now. I'm getting several calls. We're not quite ready for that portion of it yet. So folks who got the call-in number, we definitely want to hear from you guys in this program. But right now, we're going to get started with the show. And when we make the announcement, that's when you guys could call in, and you can give your experiences watching the conference on last weekend. I can't believe a week went by already.
Yeah.
Amazing how this time went by. So I just wanted to say a special thank you to everyone that was involved. People basically see just Felicia and I, but there's so many other people in the background who was a huge part of this. And I guess we give a special shout out, to the presenters. Without them, the show would not have been the conference wouldn't have been a success. Definitely Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Rosin Jeffries, Professor James Small, Ntuology. And I give a very special shout out to Ntuology because he wasn't supposed to be the first person speaking, but because of last minute changes, he had to kind of slide in and kind of open the conference for us, and did a fantastic job. So definitely want to take our hat off to him. We love Ntuology, definitely high energy, and he was definitely a easy choice. So definitely shout out to him. Jabari Ozaze, Asarim Hotep, Dr. Susan Tata, Professor Bayana Bello, Shahrazad Ali, Riza Islam, Brother Kaba Kamene. Shucks, we said him, and Dr. Georgina Falou. Everyone did such an excellent job at the conference, and not to mention, I guess last but definitely not least, our great host, brother came in, hit the grand slam, knocked it out of the park. Dr. Kenneth Harris, my man. So, definitely huge in that. And the people that was there, Felicia often said that this conference definitely was about the Hapi principles, the Hapi movement principles, and loving Black people. It was definitely resident in that room, in that building, on that second floor of that hotel in Detroit. And it was just powerful.
Yeah. It's much more than I mean, for myself, that I even thought was happening, because when you're in it, you're just in it, and you can't, then when everyone shows up, you're like, wow, people showed up, and it was just awesome. Taki, I actually have a question for you. So a lot of times the way we work in Hapi Land is that, it is Hapi Land. We kind of wait, and then things come, and then we just, you tell somebody, or somebody volunteer, okay, I'll do it. Just however it works out. But when you were actually thinking, like, how long did you marinate on this idea of doing a conference before you actually let myself and Brittany know you're going to do a conference?
Well, I don't know. The first part of the conference was in Egypt. For those who weren't aware, the One Africa Return to the Source Conference was scheduled to be in Egypt on February 25th and 26th. I don't even say unfortunately now, because it's kind of fortunate because they sort of did us a favor by moving this conference to Detroit, helping us actually choosing Detroit, because we couldn't have imagined the type of power and unity we experienced in Detroit. It's kind of funny just using the power and unity. And that whole process kind of came together kind of seamlessly. The notion came about having conversations maybe sometime last year or certain of our esteemed scholars, and it kind of went from there and it evolved. This conference originally was supposed to be years away. It wasn't supposed to be this year. It was something that was like, okay, let's do it maybe in 2023, 2024 in Egypt. Things came together and coalesced in a way that it was like, okay, we can do this now. And one of the things is, definitely the people that were involved, people like yourself and Dr. Motley, kind of let me know that we had the infrastructure and a team group to actually put it together to facilitate this now, rather than Egypt, Detroit. We could have done anywhere around the world with the people we have around us. And that's a big shout out to those people who are involved. And I kind of start off talking about the panelists, but we definitely want to also give mention to people who that's always been there. And you got our core group of people, the three of us. You got people outside who are extensions of us, people who we contract to do some of the work that we need, some of the artwork, some of the other things, the graphics, putting the books together, all this stuff which came together and coalesced in a very special way. So it really wasn't, to answer your question, Felicia, it really wasn't a lot of time in between the time of conception to the time of implementation. It was pretty much all overnight, and it happened quickly. And let us know that even we're talking about people who are there, this Hapi thing that we're doing, and I love what Dr. Ken Harris called it, this Hapi experience. Really, this experience by and large is being fostered by others. And there's a lot of ancestral power in here and what we're doing. So it doesn't take a lot to move these things around and get them off the ground, especially when you got that type of help behind you. So definitely a big shout out to the ancestors who are with us. I always call them our Hapi ancestors. And they were definitely present in that room in Detroit.
Yeah. So before I ask you, what was most surprising to you, or something that you just didn't anticipate happening? I'm going to answer that for myself first, because I think one of the things is that, we interviewed everybody that presented, a few times. Everyone's been on the show, except for Susan Tata. She's the only person that we have not actually had on Happy Talks prior to them coming to Detroit. And she didn't come to Detroit. She was she was virtual. But I think one of the things is that everyone brought, I thought when we sit down with everyone, I always think that they have their A game, because I'm always stunned. I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that. Or, it's just, I'm always learning stuff. But they stepped in with some new stuff, during that conference. I found myself just in awe. Dr. Jeffries, 85, lifting his leg up. What? He's kicking, he's doing kung fu, he's down on his knees. I'm like, what is going on here? Susan Tata, I was in straight tears. Her whole entire presentation, it was just so beautiful. And so was there any moment that you were just like, wow, okay?
Well, I was in awe pretty much from the beginning to end. I loved every aspect of it, loved every moment of it. For me, it couldn't have been scripted any better. I did forget someone. Dr. Alicia Watkins was also there, Dr. Boyce Watkins' wife, and she brought together the element that was so important in just the conversation of power and unity. And for me, this conference really kind of spoke to several things in our community. Before we go any further, though, family, please do us a favor. Please do a big favor. Like and share this video. This is a conversation, a discussion that a lot of people need to be abreast to. So if we can, just please take this moment, like and share it. Also, definitely shout out to Ronnie Gerardo for the super chat donation. People definitely want to support. You can hit the Cash App information if you're up on the screen shortly. But one of the things I want to say about, for me, in terms of stood out the most, was the presentations and the level of scholarship that was there in the building. And it all came together very beautifully. Like I said, it coalesced very well. One of the things that alike in the conference. There were some real strong actionable items delivered from Dr. Georgina Falou, who was a last-minute scratching, if you will. She wasn't supposed to be a part of that. But just listen to the elder, Dr. Jeffrey, said, Taki, we want to bring Dr. Falou there. She's been a big part of my life and everything that we're doing in the foundation. It's all right, Doc, let's go. We got her there. And last minute, she was ready to go. And she was helping people establish and set up the corporations, your IN, your tax ID numbers. So things that we talk about in terms of Hapi, like moving forward to that next step, we had people there delivering that. And that was such a beautiful thing. And it's so important that when we're talking about power and unity, what are we actually really talking about? And to be honest with you, and I'll say this, I said this a million times, and I'll say this again, and I'll stop. When the conference shifted from Detroit to Egypt, from Egypt to Detroit, one of the things that shifted with it was the theme. The original theme of the conference, and I said this before, for those who didn't hear it, this will be the first time hearing this. The original theme was One Africa Returning to the Source. The source being Kemet, Egypt, the Nile, the Hapi River, Hapi Atiru. That's the source. African cultures being connected with one another in such a way that you can link them through art, language, culture, ethnicity. You can link all these cultures together. That was the presentation would be about. That's a great subject matter. Unfortunately, a lot of our people are not interested in that. There are a lot of things that they don't necessarily relate to in that conversation. So the conversation from Egypt to Detroit shifted from that to power and unity. And we had discussions about Black economics, Black love, the Black community, Black babies, all these different things. Now it's something that's more of a universal discussion. So it was a blessing for us to actually have this conversation in such a way that it related to more than just the kind of geeks or people who are really, really interested in the historical aspect of our culture. So it's a big shout out to everyone that was involved, and I loved it. Had a great time.
Yeah, now going back to just one thing you said is Dr. Falou. So it wasn't, I don't think people understand when we say she was, helping people set up stuff. This woman gave out her phone number to every single person that was on live stream, and people there like called me, and she's dead serious. She's not like pretending. She's not saying, oh yeah, she's not just saying it. She gave out her number to make sure, that people, and made sure that we put it in the chat so that people could, get at her.
Right.
This is there she go. I think we can see this picture of her.
Yes.
Something else. So now she was supposed to be on the panel. We had a panel that was fire. This panel was fire. Okay. So I go to get her. I said, Dr. Falou, listen, the panel's getting ready to start in 2 minutes. I need you. She's like, oh, I'm not doing it. I was like, wait, what? I was like, no. I was like, Dr. Falou, come on, we got to go. Like, you just have to do this panel. She's like, no, I'm signing people up. I was like, Dr. Falou, listen, you came here to be on this panel. And she's like, I have all these people. So I'm telling everyone that's sitting with her, I'm like, you guys have to get up and start walking, because she's not going to get up. So then she was like, okay, if you give me your earrings, I forgot what earrings I had. I think they're my Africa earrings. She's like, if you give me your earrings, I'll get up. I was like, Dr. Falou, you got it. You have to go. Come on. We just need you for like 30 minutes. So I pick up her purse. I'm literally like, now I'm almost dragging this woman to get her to start walking. She has a stack of papers in her hand, and she still tells, she's like, okay, now do blah, blah, blah. We had another girl that came down from Brooklyn who, she just came down to enjoy the conference. She ended up literally being like Dr. Falou's second woman, just right there helping, disseminating papers, getting signatures, doing all types of stuff. So I don't, when people talk about people being dedicated to the cause, Dr. Falou was literally dedicated to making sure that, we form these corporations, and that we just don't talk about doing it, that we actually do it, so yeah, that's her holding court. And she held court a couple of times. Like, it wasn't just one time, she was definitely, getting it in.
No, she did. Definitely a big shout out to Dr. Falou and Dr. Jeffries again for making sure that she was there with us in Detroit, because he was definitely the catalyst behind that. And we're going to have a special kind of show with just him talking about his experience in the conference. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down with him because he did. He spoke for 2 hours, and that's a conversation we need to just sit down. We have to show people parts of what he said. God, it was so moving, and I think that's the thing. Dr. Baina Bello said that after I met her, I talked to her at the end of the first night. I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. She's sitting downstairs, and I'm talking to her, and she said, she's like, "Oh my!" She's like, "Each person is it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger." And it seems like all the people that were just, everybody was dynamic, but nobody was where they started off being. You know, in terms of how we thought they were going to be showing up at this conference. We thought some people would be in person, some people would be on virtual, and just the way that everybody, you know, shifted, it was just all ancestral. It was
yes. So I want to make this quick announcement again for those people who are calling in the call-in number. We're not quite ready for that part of the show yet, so just hang tight. If you're watching, we'll make the announcement. Thank you for calling, by the way. We will let you know, guys, when to call. There is several other people we got to get on before you, but as soon as we make the announcement, feel free to call and share your thoughts on the conference. Yeah. With that, do you want to bring it? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and just one thing, one last thing. So you were talking about the Hapi, you know, people are like, well, why this conference and, you know, power and unity? But, you know, a lot of times, like, how does this relate to like Hapi and the Hapi movement and those 4 principles that we're always talking about? And the first one, loving Black people, when you stepped into the DoubleTree, you know, hotel in Detroit, downtown Detroit, you smelled sage, which was like, oh my God, that was beautiful. It's like you smell sage and just the love of Black people. We had some of the people that worked in the hotel. There's one particular young woman. I'm not gonna say her name because, you know, just in case a little DoubleTree trying to listen, try to get rid of somebody. But this young girl came up and she was like, "What's that smell?" And so I was acting like I didn't know what it was because I'm like, I don't think you can burn sage in a hotel, but we'll just, you know, be like, whatever. So, you know, I told her, I was like, well, I think it may be sage. And so I took over to somebody, to Tiffany Wright's, her business, because we had vendors there as well in the marketplace. And Tiffany has like 8, 9 different types of sages. I'm like, oh, this is probably what you smell. So she bought some sage. But when I talked to her later, she not only bought sage, she put down a down payment for 2 tickets to go to Tanzania because we had someone there that does trips to Tanzania. So she secured 2 spots for her and her sister to go to Tanzania. She bought some jewelry. She got sage, and she had some something for her diffuser. And she was like, this is the best event ever that has ever been at the DoubleTree. She was like, I stepped off the elevator. It just feels so good. Everyone's just lounging. And she's like, it's just so lovely. And I was like, yes. Like that was like our tenement number 1, love Black people. We hit that out the park. Yeah. And then that's just thanks to everybody just showing up. So that was really very, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, someone else said, but it took my very nice. There you go. All right. So we are going to bring in, let's see, we got Dr. Ken Harris, our MC. We have Dr. Motley, our trio, our Hapi trio right there.
The genius, Key. What's up, man?
That's you, brother. That's you. That's you. I mean, come on, you did such a fabulous job. Everything just kind of worked out. We lost our original MC. Just got to give a special shout out to Dr. Ken Harris. Original MC couldn't make it for various reasons. And I reached out to Dr. Harris and I asked the brother to do, or would he be interested in facilitating the conference, moderating the conference? And the brother said yes. And it was such a beautiful thing because, again, for those who were not there, for those who did not watch it, it's so important that we understand the depth of the conference and the discussions to be able to transcend almost every aspect of our lives. And that's something for me that was so important to have seen done in that very special way there in Detroit. And Dr. Ken Harris being the president of the National Business League, and correct me if I'm wrong, over 100 years strong, founded by Dr. W. Say that again?
122.
122. Okay. 13th president. I got that right?
Number 12.
Number 12. Damn. Close. All right. The 12th president.
We'll have 13 one day. There's no success without succession.
Okay. Okay. All right. So listen, those who don't know him, please get to know this brother. Definitely a powerful person. And you know, he definitely brought it home. Yeah, Dr. Brittany Motley there working and with the tech people, helping coordinate everything, making sure that the conference is live streamed to everyone successfully. Those people who were not in the building, definitely big shout out to Dr. Motley. Such a beautiful thing, man. And it's all about the team and those people who brought it together. So I'm just proud to be a part of this experience.
So it's an honor. You know, I always say I just want to say happy my Auntie Day, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies. We want to make sure that we establish feminine energy first today. And so Dr. Motley, is always a pleasure. And I'm glad my aunt worked through both you, Taki, and Felicia and the rest of the team. So I'm loving every experience and the aftermath.
Same. It's good to be here. It's been a pleasure working with you all.
So what were you guys? Were you guys surprised at anything?
I would say I was not shocked, but I'm still basking in all of the things that happened too. I think it was amazing. Like, I agree that Dr. Tata, I felt like she just hugged us all through the screen. Like, that was her message, was dressed in so much love. Yes. Dr. Falou, I loved how actionable she gave us. You know, you're right. She had people setting up 501c3s right there in the, like, you know, where do you get this at? You know, in what world? And then to you all's point, you all made the points already, but the diversity of thought that was there, you know, it was something for the scholars. It was something for the practitioners, you know, it was something for those who are doing things in different sectors. It was something for everybody there, all African centered at the same time. So I just thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, and I concur. I mean, when you ask the ancestors to bless the event, obviously the ancestors not only blessed the event, but they worked through every single component and abstract within that construct that was created. So in the contours of everything, the spirit flowed from one speaker to the next. And so it was easy for me to moderate because I could feel the spirit. And the spirit was through the agenda. It was through the atmosphere. It was the energy, the vibration, the frequency levels. No matter how they changed, it connected with everyone. And it all started from a visual manifestation. And so that visual manifestation didn't start at this event. It was the culmination of everything that led up to this point that you all were able to articulate. And so because I tell Taki all the time, you got to go through the fire to experience the glory. And I felt as though whatever it was that precipitated and whatever obstacles that was put in place that you all were able to overcome proceeded in the ancestors and the divine spirit working through every aspect of this particular conference. And I think not only were the attendees able to benefit, but I also thought that they were led by all of the hand-picked instructors, teachers, prophets that you assembled that allowed for the healing to occur. And so, you know, I just basked in it. I didn't even have to do anything, to be honest with you, because the Hapi movement team and leadership set the principles of my aunt from the beginning, and that order was in place, and it flowed to the conclusion, which was success. Now, what I'm even more excited about is the next steps.
Yes, definitely the next steps, because there's nothing without the next steps. And we definitely have some things that's brewing in the pot for the next steps. This is just a part of it. this for me was what I like to call Hapi. You mentioned the selection of people. In a sense, I like to call this Hapi 2.0 in terms of the film. The conference was a continuation of this. The scholarship here was a very diverse, use Dr. Motley's word, very diverse group of people, but they brought together a discussion in a very succinct way. And that's exactly what occurred in the conference. Bringing together different minds. It goes to show us that even though we may have different mindsets or different philosophies or different strategies, that as Black people, we can work together. And I think that's part of the problem we have in our community, is that just because a person's over here doing it, a person's over there doing it, doesn't mean we can't find a way and find a lane to kind of pull our resources together and work together to be successful. And that is the problem we have in our community. This conference was an example that we can do it and we can be successful doing it. So the next step for us is moving forward in that ideal and spirit of the conference is to take different Black organizations, something we've done very well in Hapi, but as a part of our Hapi principle, which is unity. When we look at the Hapi itself, it deals with unity. I believe ancient Kemet was founded on the Hapi in the sense of there would not be no Nasut Biti or pharaohs, if you will, without the unification of the two kingdoms, Upper and Lower Egypt. So everything that we understand and we do is based on the principle of unity. And if they did it then and thrive, we got to do it now, today, in order for us to thrive. So our next step is really, really bringing together these different people, and we had them in the room and we had them in the building. It's like, okay, this is what we've been doing. But you know, for Felicia and I, this is from day one, is understanding relationships, the building of relationships, the developing of relationships between people and businesses and organizations throughout the period, about this whole dynamic of this Black world. And we need to keep that growing. We need to touch base with our people, our brothers and sisters across the pond, definitely in the continent, as well as in Europe and other parts of the world. So, you know,
so I was watching, and let me tell you the live stream. The quality of the live stream, it was so clear. It looks so, oh my God, it looks so good. So I was getting ready for some part, and so I was watching the live stream, and you know, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I gotta show the picture, because when I saw this picture, I was just like so moved. I was like, okay. I was like right there. I was like a screenshot, and I texted to you, Dr. Motley, and I was like, yo, I was like, this chick right here, this is what I'm saying. So we go into this, right? And we're like, okay, we're gonna be doing this. Okay, Dr. Motley, you're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone got into their spaces and was like, bam. I was like, oh my, you know, this right here. Let me bring up this other one with Dr. Ken Harris, because you know, I hear you talking, Dr. Harris, but the things that you were saying and how you kept the momentum going. You were telling jokes. You were, you were caring. You were understanding. But then you delivered that the economic speech by any means necessary. I was like, damn, okay, you know. And so it's like it was just seeing everybody in this space that, you know, that was just elevated. It was just elevated, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. And that picture, you know, is a testament of the conference, right? So our elders, our queens, our mothers, I mean, the blessings that proceeded upon the flow of the energy. I mean, I think everything was understood, because now the platform of economic empowerment, cooperative economics, Black business, motivation and promotion and success, and then the Hapi movement kind of organizing it in a way to where we now have a strategic plan and a strategic agenda. Absolutely. To now incorporate internal and external components that are going to make it truly successful. And so now that we got the foundation, now that we have mobilized and organized ourselves in a way led by the Ma'atian order and spirit. This thing is unprecedented in this time. And I'm sure the ancestors are smiling because that picture says 1,000 words to me. I couldn't pay for that picture. Mrs. Jeffries and Dr. Jeffries have walked the walk, talked the talk, delivered the talk, and they are still here to help Taki and the movement move forward. And that speaks about us and the generations that have been divided and separated. And what One Africa presented was something that will cast upon the world, that we can come together and love each other. And we can, like Dr. Karenga said, to be ourselves, we have to free ourselves. To free ourselves, then we can be ourselves. And that's what this represented for me. So we were able to be ourselves. And like I said, when I'm in an environment where my spirit leads, it's not even me. We're operating planes now, you know, so we come in like they never saw before to neutralize this system that has oppressed us. We are now coming in a way through the struggle, not running from it. We came through it to be to this point. And Taki and Dr. Motley and Felicia and the rest of the team, hats off to everything that you put together, because now you have ignited an economic freedom movement, which was the title by any means necessary of my particular presentation.
So I tell you, my man right here, he's always very modest.
I know what he's saying. He's doing crazy talk right now. Let me tell you.
Dr. Jeffries actually mentioned, I spoke to Dr. J last night, and he mentioned you last night. He said you did a fantastic job. And you know, looking at that picture with you and Dr. Ken Harris and Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, it reminded me of another aspect of unity I think that gets oftentimes overlooked in our community. And again, I think this was a strength we had in our past. We look to the past to garner information, to garner direction. And we look to the past of the Nile and everything that we're doing. One of the things that the Nile featured was unity in just aspects of the human experience.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for us to be successful, we have to have unity between our elders and ourselves and our children, all these different.
Can you still hear? Yeah, I can't hear Taki. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah, what happened, Taki?
He on mute.
You
Got me? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay. So I'm not really sure where I fell out at. So I'll just come back and say everything again. One of our strengths that we had when we look at ancient Kemet was a diversity in different aspects of the human experience.
Yeah.
We oftentimes hear from Professor Smalls where God having a human experience. In that, there was representation with men, women, the child, the old, the elders. Every aspect in that community was represented in a powerful way, and there was also empowerment there. This conference was an example of that, because all aspects of who we are as God having a human experience was represented and empowered to speak their voice. And that's essential for we talk about power and unity. There's also recognize that we are diverse in just our human experience, and we need those aspects of God to be recognized, and we have to step forward together in order for us to be successful.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Let me just, because a couple people are asking about this in the chat. So yes, so there's no way we would not record that weekend. So it is. Yeah, let me tell you, some people, and you guys are getting at us, like some people are like, oh, I was shopping, I forgot about it. Like, okay, listen, this is the deal. It has been recorded. We are editing it now. Because, you know, we took breaks for, like for people to get up and stretch their legs, for, you know, like lunch. So we want to kind of take those things out and just make it look prettier. We're not touching the content of what's in there. So you will be able to, you know, to download this for a nominal fee, and you will sit and be able to watch it, and be moved like we were. It doesn't even lose it. You know how sometimes like, well, I wasn't there, I didn't, you know, you it doesn't matter where you were. I mean, where you are, you are going to experience something. I can definitely tell you that. Yeah, because I mean, I think I watched, you know, during that weekend, over the next, you know, the course of the next 2 days when we kept it up, you know, for those that were on live stream, I probably watched Dr. J's performance like at least eight, 9 times. He was dope. And also, just to add on to what you said, Taki, yeah, I was talking to Professor Small, and he was like, "Oh, that MC was brilliant, oh, great." And you know how he talks with that deep voice? He was like, he was everything. Oh, he did this, he did that, and I was like, I know. Like the whole time, I was like, I know, and that's why I know these facts about the National Business League, because I say them to everybody all the time. Because you know, Dr. Harris, he's like, oh, we're just going to do this. Oh, do you need help with this? And then it's like Dr. Motley. It's like you guys come and bam. I'm like, what the hell just happened? You know, and so, you know, I'm so used to knowing the statistics. And I'm like, so I'm telling Professor, I'm like, yeah, so look, you know, there's only been 12 presidents. And he's like, well, they picked a good one because he was, and he did this, and you know, and how he got the people to come here, and you know, and he had humor, but you know, he wasn't trying to be a comedian. You know, he did this, and he's like, oh, and this. I mean, he was just going on and on, and so, you know, when you guys see it, you know, for those who have not seen it. And when we're able, and we're going to get that out to you, you know, we're working on it right now. So it's not going to be something that's going to take months and months for us to get out, but we're definitely going to be able to, you know, get that out to everyone this month at some point.
But Felicia, I just got to be honest. If you did not attend the conference, it will not be the same. It will still be impactful. It will still be valuable. But to be there in person was to witness history, the universe, cosmology, nature, the spirit, and talent beyond belief. Black excellence, Black magnificence. And I tell you, this was easy for me because Dr. Motley laid the agenda out, right? And so I don't know how Taki behind the scenes, which y'all did to organize this thing to flow the way that it did. But every single presentation that precipitated the next flowed in concert, flowed in uniqueness to set up the next presentation. And so by the time you finished the day, it was almost like you got hit from every aspect of Black life, Black experience, Black culture, Black living, period. And that's what this is all about, because it's not just the event, it's the community.
Right there. See, I wasn't trying to rub it in.
And that's my job as the moderator. I'm going to rub it in. So next time Happy Film put out another event, our people are now, you know, I hate to say it, we just got to see it to believe it. But guess what? I can tell you right now, not only do you see it, you don't even have to trust in the belief because the facts are there. And we getting away from belief. We going to the proof in the pudding. And Dr. Motley, you know, this sister always in the background. She's always humble, you know, but she laid out this thing in an organized way. And I just tell you, the people, I always say Negroes with egos will ruin anything. So the Negroes with the egos didn't have a place in what was happening in this particular setting.
And they didn't even show up. Yeah. Let me tell you, and that's the beautiful thing, is that, you know, we've been to places, and every time I looked around, everybody was just loving on each other. You know, like this picture I have up. So that's Dr. Baina Bello. She's sitting down, and she was another one. Her, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries. Every time you turn around, they sit down, and a bunch of people they just talking to people, and they talking to people all throughout the night. You know, it wasn't like they were over and they were just done with. It's, you know, I was telling somebody they were like the Jamaican. What's the Jamaican? The 4x100 relay. Those girls. It's like they were handing the baton to each other, and they was like, "I got it," and they just took off. They were using energy from whoever presented first. you know, I mean, or before them, to kind of take that energy and just move it. It was like you could see them transferring this ball of like Black love energy to the next person. It was really love. And this guy right here with his fist up sitting down, that's Dennis Boatwright. Let me tell you, or some people know him as Dennis Imhotep. He has a transportation company. He was transporting everybody. He was like, okay, look, I gave him an itinerary of who's coming in at the airport. This brother's like, okay, I got such and such. He had his wife picking up people. He took people from the hotel to the gala. I was like, oh my God, I forgot something, because Ron Spears had donated his book to everyone that came. And I forgot the books at home. I mean, in my hotel. And he was like, that's okay. He sent some brother. He's like, give me your hotel key. This guy went, got the books, brought them back. And I'm like, what is going on? These are things that, you know, we had a plan for, but the plan, like our plan was just nothing compared to what happened. And
it was the interchangeable pieces.
Yeah.
It was like we were not playing checkers, we were playing chess.
Absolutely. Yes.
The strategy, and we invented chess, so I can understand why there's some favoritism. But even in that whole scenario of people who unfortunately may have had a late flight and they had to speak at a later time, to kick this thing off with Nfudishi set the bar out the gate.
Yes.
So when you got somebody with that much knowledge, experience, and they're coming out as the foundation of the lecture series, oh, it's a wrap. At that point, it was already, I mean, Nfudishi set the bar so high, and everyone set their own bar after he set his bar. And that's what, I mean, when you think about Rizza Islam, man, he came through with a message that was just so direct and Malcolm X-ish, right? And it was real, and it touched every generation. And then you think about Dr. Susan Tata, who was able to connect Africa with Black Americans and remind us of the suffering, but the love, and why we have been through the fire to come back home, and that we are all one. And when you feed off of that energy, and then you get to Sister Ali, who at the end of the day reminded you why Black is beautiful, and our queens set the standard for how the community should operate. And she gave truth, honesty, and parity to the discussion that most people don't want to have with you. And then you get to the master lecturer, Jabari, who broke things down in such a historical, systematic way that it wanted you to know how special you are and where you come from, and the importance of our ancestry and history being a part of our entire experience, period. He took us from A to Z with the least amount of gray hair and stress, and he reminded us of our greatness. And when you can flow off that energy, and then you got Dr. Alicia Watkins, who came in talking about Black love and Black relationships and Black family, a discussion we are not currently having at that magnitude in the community, and bringing that to this topic of economics and the importance of wealth and mental health. So we and I can't even talk about Dr. Bella. Oh my goodness!
When she started, when she did that little the call, the Haitian call thing, I was like, what is going on? This woman, I've been on her show. She's been on our show a couple of times. She ain't never did no little call like that. And I was like, what is?
I'm just saying, and I could go on and on about so many. I mean, Brother Asar was. I mean, he took us into the digital footprint of the future, and connected it back to ancient Kemet. And then you had a panel discussion where they all came together, and it was almost like the son of Ra was under their seats. Right? You saw the rays coming out, right, and touching everyone, right? So it's I just say, man, this is a foundation. What happened? The foundation is set so that we can build something great on top of this. But it's an honor for me, on behalf of the National Business League and the vision of Booker T. Washington, and all that he did to set us towards Black economic freedom and liberation, to see it actually happening with the Hapi movement. So it's an honor.
Wow. So when you hear you speak and kind of just reflect on the past 2 years and the Hapi movement and Hapi Talks, where we're currently speaking on the platform, I saw the conference in itself as an extension of Hapi Talks, the live version of Hapi Talks. Most of the people that, well, not most, some of the people that were in the conference as presenters, we met them, like Felicia mentioned, also all of them been on the show with the exception of Dr. Susan Tata. But for some, this is the first time meeting them in person. First time met actually Dr. Bello in person, Professor Bello in person. Most of the other ones we've kind of seen, but this was just like a live in-person experience. So that made it powerful, and a very, very special, powerful for myself. Professor Kaba live here in New York. I've seen him many, many times throughout the years. But just to be around the people in person and not really kind of have this impersonal digital aspect that we use is a very useful tool, but there's nothing like being in the room, right, Dr. Harris? Nothing like actually being there, feeling that energy. And don't worry, people, there will be something else. Don't know when.
But special type of stage you had, brother.
Yeah. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do something again. We're gonna do something bigger and better. We gotta raise the bar higher. So I don't know what that looks like. Definitely please like and share, comment on the video, get it out. Definitely want to say thank you to Rogbako Baby for your super chat donation. Those people don't be, Felicia, get a chance, please put up the Cash App. Don't be afraid to help the movement move forward. Definitely big shout out to Dr. Ken Harris. He donated $1,000 to the movement. Brother Sean Richardson, many others also, their donations that night, their love offerings, as we call them. Please don't be afraid to do that. You see where it's going, and our expression in terms of moving us forward and just connecting with other Black people is what this Hapi movement is about.
No doubt.
You got to get Dr. Motley to say something, sister.
So it's hard to provide commentary after you because you touched on everything. But I'm happy to jump in here. So on the tech piece, shout out to Mike Bruce and Marlon Watkins for letting me be a faux tech person working with the streaming team. It was so fun. But to touch on that, it was also interesting. We know that Mercury is in Gatorade and kind of all of the tech things that were going on, but we definitely noticed some attacks and some kind of unique, technical glitches and things of that sort. So I appreciate working with this team as well. We were like super agile. We were on it, anytime something was going on, we were jumping in it that way. I also want to echo Dr. Harris' sentiments on the experience. Just how accessible these elders and scholars and speakers were. And so, I got one-on-one counseling from a Kemetic priest and I got life coaching from different scholars, tips on how to write books, how to do research, just all kinds of things. And this was just from organic hallway conversations, in the hotel. And so it was certainly just powerful. And I love the humility of our elders. And I just love how accessible they are, just willing to give advice. I agree that it was powerful. And I also agree that the panel was powerful because it showed the different ways. Well, the conference illustrated this too, the different ways that we fight this fight. Sometimes we can get caught up in what I like to call the oppression Olympics. No, we should be doing this, or they have it worse than this, or we should focus here because that isn't important. But this really showed that no, we have to fight this fight on every level, in every sector, you know, individually as well as institutional. We need someone in the streets. We need someone being scholarly, you know, in that realm as well. So we need those folks in academia too. And so we shouldn't knock each other, but we should all unify so we can make sure that we're fighting this battle holistically. So that was my biggest takeaway. But I'm still basking in all of it. Can't wait to see, you know, what happens, what is the outcomes, you know, from this, and just seeing all of the different people who are getting activated and what's going to come out of it. So it was amazing to witness.
Yeah, you know, so this woman right here, Tanika Hoskins, I hope I'm saying her name right. So she's a live streamer, and this sister, I think I might have, because we were trying to get this live stream out. Eventbrite wasn't acting right, like you said. It was like a bunch of, you know, just things wasn't gelling the way they need to. So I ended up talking to her on the phone. I think it was maybe late Saturday night, or it might have even been Sunday night. And she was like, you know, I didn't know, and I paid twice, and I didn't get this, da da da. I was like, okay. And she's like, you know, I saw day one, and I'm up here, and I'm like, whoa, I can't even get day two. Was good, and so I sent it to her, and so it's so good because she was just like, yo, like this right here, it was just straight fire, just straight fire, straight fire. So our live streamers and people were patient on this, on the, you know, like if they didn't get the stream yet, you know, we got goo gobs of emails, but for the most part, people were like, okay, you know, waiting, I didn't get it, texting, like doing all, you know, everything they could to, you know, make sure that they could get tapped in. So we appreciate that.
And I just want to also say, just thank you to everyone. You know, we mentioned the panel, we mentioned the team, but the love and support from people that traveled all throughout, you know, especially the continent of the United States, some aspects even the world, people came out to be a part of this. A lot of the people that came are our Hapi people. Definitely thank you to you guys. This one sister took 3 trains and a bus.
Wow.
Came from the West Coast.
Segoya. And she was a person, she bought the live stream ticket. She was the very first person. When I put it up, she was the first person to buy it. And
yeah,
so and then she put an ad in the book. Okay. And then when she put the ad in the book, and then she said, okay, and then at one point she said, I'm going to come. And I was like, oh my God. And so she, 3 chains in the bus. I was like, yo, that's what's up.
And we also have with us, and you'll see her momentarily, Goddess Queen Mother Brenda Allen drove up from Florida. So people will come from everywhere driving and to be a part of this. And Brother Saw, I believe he drove too. So people really, really, really coming and showing their support, showing their love. So definitely that goes without, that can't be overstated. And thank you for that, because that's what really made it special. And everything is about you guys, and you guys showed up and showed out. So hats off, and we love you guys. Yes.
And you know, those love donations that you guys give, like those actually paid people. You know, that paid for Michael Bruce and his team to be there. You know, it contributed to our sound engineer, Rob, who was, you know, working alongside the live streamers. It was just effortless. They did a really good job. So we're happy to see Brother Sar. Hey, Brother Sar.
What's a guan?
That deep voice is for real in real life, guys. I don't know if you guys know that, but that deep voice is for real.
Good to see you, Sar.
Yeah, I never met a Sar until, I mean, we sit here on this, you know, on this TV thing, but I'd never seen him like in person, so it was really cool to see him.
Well, it was really cool to see everyone else. Of course, I met Brother Taki before, but to see Dr. Motley, Sister Brittany, and for the first time to meet Dr. Harris, and of course to meet Sister Felicia and others. You know, pretty much everyone on the panel, everyone else I've met in one capacity or another. But it was especially good meeting the people who, you know, a lot of them were familiar. I've come across them under different names because, you know, us Africans, we have our government names, and then we have the names that we have on social media. So they're like, yeah, I follow you as da 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 da. And then just to meet the native Detroiters. And I always say, well, I've been saying that, you know, because this is my first time in Detroit. And so like it reminds me, like the people remind me of the people back home in New Orleans. And it's different, but in the sense that the spirit of the people, like everyone feels like cousins. And then they just act like down to earth. It's just like they're like open and just like family. It's just like a big city of cousins. And that's just one of the things that I noticed from the people. So it was also my first time in Canada because I got lost trying to find Planet Fitness, but that's a different story. So y'all had to tell me about these tolls and just ended up in other countries. Y'all didn't tell me that beforehand, but I had a very good time presenting and meeting the people and getting to see some other people from behind the scenes. And it was just an overall good weekend. And yes, I drove all the way from Philly there. So I made some stops in between back. So I hit up Cleveland and some other spots. So it was a dope weekend altogether.
Were you surprised by anybody's, their presentation?
Nah, because again, I'm familiar. Like I know, like these people personally, you know. So I've heard it, I've seen it, been in personal conversations, you know, with the elders and the like. So I'm kind of pretty familiar with their general talking points and things, but you know, it still doesn't diminish the quality of what was presented. And so, you know, like one of the ones I really enjoyed was from Sister Shahrazad Ali, for example, you know, and just the importance of the relationship thing. And even Dr. Watkins and her, you know, like actionable plans for those arguments or those moments of contention in an intimate relationship and I think, you know, I really like those conversations because, you know, as y'all know, I argue that essentially the basis of economics is relationships between people. And until we start, I'm not going to say till we start, until it becomes just common knowledge about the importance of, you know, personal relationships to the expansion and growth of economics, you know, we won't realize the goals that we want to achieve. So while we're talking about creating products, learning about a certain knowledge or skill set or whatnot to make money, investing and the like, it really boils down to culture and interpersonal relationships and building enough trust between one another that you can look at your brother and sister as a resource to solve your problems and a person that one can extend their arms and to give your money to so that they can solve your problem. And that's the basis of, but it starts with trust. We can't even trust in each other enough to even get married or be boyfriend or girlfriend and, you know, those types of things. Then it's going to really be hard to try to build an economic system. And that's really the basis of the entire, in my personal opinion, the entire conference. And then everything kind of expands from there. So I really paid attention and looked at especially those two conversations from the queens who presented at the conference.
Yeah.
You know, just to say something real quickly, that reminded me of Asar. He's a Hapi cast member, Hapi film cast member. And one of the things that was said when we shot the, part of his segment in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston was economics starts between the relationship between people.
Mm-hmm.
And that resonated with me in such a way, it made me realize just how powerful that statement was. And everything that we do here must be about building relationships with each other. And I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, that is the number one Hapi principle, is dealing with each other in a very, very special way. We got to learn how to hold doors and open doors and pick up things for each other and help our elderly, things like that. We really need to get back to some real basics. And once we do those things, like the brother said, we can now start talking about really doing some more complex business deals and really bringing some of these mergers together. But we really have to deal with each other in a special way. And even Dr. Noble said that in the film as well. No, excuse me, it wasn't Dr. Noble, it was Dr. Boyce Watkins. Trust each other so we can collude in a way to want to deal with each other in a financial aspect. So the relationship piece, family, that's really what it's about. It's about building these ties with one another. And I think if we're ready to bring some of these other people in, because just speaking on relationships, we have some people who were at the conference, and we're doing something a little different today in Hapi, and that we're going to bring some of them on to kind of express themselves and share their experiences with you guys. So happy to have with us here Sister Keisha and Goddess Queen Mother Brenda Allen, who's also one of our big Hapi supporters. And I can't think of the brother's name right now. The brother with you, Sister Allen, who's that? What's his name?
Andre.
King Andre Hill Sr.
Okay, how you guys doing today?
Hey, man. Doing well. Absolutely well.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of keeping this energy going.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. And I just have to say, and I'll jump right in right away because I'm excited. Dr. Ken Harris, wow. When I say one Africa, we say power and unity. One Africa, power and unity. That's what we're all about. But
we forgot that. That's right, Miss Allen. Yeah, we were standing up. Would you tell us black hand stand up, or what was that you were saying?
And give everybody a black hand.
Yes. Yes.
And you had to have been there to get that energy to come back to us. But my experience was quite phenomenal. I enjoyed every second. And I'll tell you why from the very beginning. First, the drive up. Andre Sr. drove almost 16 hours to get us through 5 states from Tampa, Florida to Detroit. My first time being there. So hats off to this guy, this king for
you,
that.
Andre.
Thanks, Andre. That's what's up. You brought the queen to Detroit. Go ahead.
Indeed. And so the energy started for me from an ancestral frequency and vibration when we entered the auditorium for the first time. And I took a seat, 3 seats in from the aisle, second row. And I sat down next to a couple. And when I introduced myself to the young lady that sat next to me, and she told me her name, and oh my goodness, I must give honor and praise to the Most High and to our ancestors, because the name she told me was the name of my girlfriend, my best girlfriend that had passed away and made her transition in 2018. That was one of the reasons why I relocated to Florida. She told me that her name was Valerie, and Valerie Robinson was my girlfriend. So her spirit from that realm, from the ancestral realm, followed me and us from Florida to Detroit and sat next to me throughout the duration of that conference. So that set the stage, aside from Brother Ken, who made us always say,
thank you,
when I say one Africa.
Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Ma'at Day for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The other moment that touched me dearly, and Andre will say I probably started something, but with Dr. Susan Tata. She, oh my goodness, I think I started crying first, trying to hold it back, but it was impossible. The spirit was just too high. But what made me so emotional was the fact that she said we had come across from the homeland. And as a clairvoyant and as a medium, I have in a past life been on the slave ship. I experienced that in a other life. And I have walked down through the ages to be here from a divine level. And so I could not hold that back because I had experienced what it's like to be in that dark, small space on a ship crowded with people. And the only saving grace for me was someone said, "Are you all right?" It was fearful to be on that ship, but she brought it home to me and realized that I was saved for a really good reason to be there at that conference. I was also saved from drowning as a 2-year-old in the Pacific Ocean. So I've been in the waters, I've been across the waters, and I will go back when we travel back on our tour. I will go back home. And I channel the spirit of Queen Hatshepsut. So let me get in her temple, and I will bring her spirit right back to America when we return. And I'm going to give over my time. There's so much more that I could say, but I want King Andre to have an expression of what he felt during that time.
Oh, thank you. I'm very much impressed with the generations that are coming together to recognize the critical situation that we're in right now. Just a little background on myself. This September, I will be 70 years old. I have 64 years of business experience. So when I was 6 years old, I had to wipe the windows and sweep the sidewalks on my family business. So I count every year. I have operated many businesses, signed many payroll checks, developed many business plans, IPOs. I have seen it all in America, in the United States of corporate America. I'm very much concerned that the direction where we're headed is trying to fix this system. And based on my 64 years, 3 years in a law firm in DC in taxation, 4 years of college of FAMU in business and marketing, I don't see us fixing this European economic design. So I strongly recommend that you bring individuals with the business and some metaphysical consciousness on how we're going to overcome the entity that's manipulating these colonizing nations that are gathering right now. This war in Ukraine, this is a movement to galvanize these Caucasian groups to create a whole different economic system that is not there, have no intentions of including us in it. So we need to move rapidly into developing alliances with all the different types of groups. Somebody, I think Ken mentioned the egos. We got to drop these egos and come together to a table. In our design, we have a council of elders, and we respect people born in the 60s, people born in the 70s, and it has to be organized just like the pyramid in order for us to beat this outside entity that's manipulating these European nations into galvanizing and shutting melanated people down all over the world. This is critical. I strongly recommend you get a critical thinking panel together, which is inclusive. I think Ken mentioned you got to have people from the streets, people from my field of expertise to come up with a comprehensive plan. And here's how it works. The window is closing rapidly, but when we demonstrate to the guardians that we're sincere about this, that we are developing a one love attitude and concept toward each other, that the window is delayed, it's a stay of execution. But if we don't demonstrate this immediately, that we're coming together as one love, one nation, we're in a very serious predicament. And that's my time. Thank you.
Well, we have of course, the pyramid. Professor Small talks about the foundation being economics. We have the politics, and then we have the culture. Now, King Andre puts on the capstone to this pyramid, which is the metaphysical part, and that brings us all together. We get the energy and the power from straight from the source, from Ra, through the capstone. So that's what we bring, the energy to help us to know that we are winners and we are in solidarity at 12:12 p.m. We ring the alarm, as Dr. Susan Tata told us. Set your alarm and 12:12 p.m. and we all think and say solidarity. And I will add, we are united. Let that narrative permeate the entire planet, because I will blanket the whole entire planet with my love.
Oh, sure.
You know, I got to add to that, because I saw some people in the chat talking about 1212, right? So I talked to Susan. I right after I was trying to just get out, I couldn't even tell her how much I just loved her and how she was so powerful. But I talked to her the next day, and she said that she couldn't sleep that night because she was like, why did she tell everyone to set their alarm clocks for 12:12 on May 23rd? Yeah. And she said, because that's not the day of the unification of the African Union. It's May 25th. And so she was like, she was like, I know it's May 25th, but I kept telling people May 23rd. So she said she went to the library. She went to the library in Germany, and she started researching all this stuff, and she found out that actually May 23rd was the day that's when they signed the Declaration. So she didn't know that information. She hadn't known that information because she's always been, she's done different events on May 25th at 12:12 for like the last couple of years. And so she was like, you know, she was like, why did I say that? And so she was so upset about it. And so I was like, wow. And that's like this whole, ancestral piece just took over, you know. I don't know. Yeah. You know, she was supposed to, I don't know if people know, but she was supposed to be there in person. And she couldn't get onto her flight, not once, but twice.
I was looking forward to meeting with her. I brought my books for Shahrazad Ali to get her autograph. We have a vendor there, our chairman of the Enlightened Ones Political Action Committee, Terrence Lake. He had his book sales vendor table set up. He actually was our host and escort around Detroit because he lives there in Southfield, Michigan. So we both had a chance to sightsee. We didn't get to Canada, Asar Imhotep, but we got to see over the water as he drove us around town. The hospitality in Detroit is quite phenomenal. The gala was off the chain. I enjoyed everything. Sequoia, we met up with Chungalia at the gala, and we lived in the same community in Los Angeles on the same block.
Oh, you're the one he was talking about. I talked to him later, and let me just tell everyone. So Chungalia, he's an elder, and when we first put this out, we had this guy named Gregory that he does he plans the African Liberation Day in Detroit. So he was like, listen, he called me up. He's like, I'm going to be your liaison between, Hapi and the elder community, because they don't really get online like that. They can't get tickets. Like, he was, saying all these things. So he's like, I'm going to help you out. So Chukalia was on him, like, okay, wait, I didn't get my ticket yet. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. So at some point, I said, Greg, I'm so tired of talking to you about this Chukalia man. Tell him to call me. So Chukalia calls me. And as soon as he gets on the phone, he's like, and da-da-da-da. I was like, yo, hold up, Chukalia. I was like, can you first say hi? Can we have a conversation? And so he was just like, he was, like, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but I have to go do this. Can I do that? So I was like, Chukalia, I don't even know you, but brother, just come. Just come. so that we can, so I can see you, and that you can, just spread this energy. So it was good that I'm glad that he was taking you guys around, and he said, he was like, I was like, what? That's
It was beautiful, an awesome, awesome event, and I will go anywhere with the Hapi family. Around the world, I will go.
Oh, nice. Oh,
so we know you other guys, Keisha and brother Black Panther, waiting for a long time. How about you, Keisha? What was your experience?
For me, as Dr. Harris, let me start off saying that Black excellence. After the first night, I came home, not even knowing what to expect, but I came home. My mother asked me, well, how was it? And I was like, well, it was like the Oscars without the Will Smith and Chris Rock. And for me, I got to meet all my superstars. And first person I actually saw was Asar in the lobby. To get to the point where I even wanted to be on here this evening, it was divine that I was at this event, not even ever hearing about Hapi and the movement and everything, but coming awakened a few years ago and all of those things, and being a minister at my church, I was asking the divine, well, what's next? I'm coming into this knowledge, this awareness, and all these things, but I want to start applying it. I want to put the rubber to the road. So I was actually on YouTube watching another brother that was teaching. He wasn't part of the Hapi movement, but it was a brother he was speaking to that had left Christianity after 30 years, named Greg Asar Staten. And so the brother was telling me, well, connect with him. He's out of Chicago. I'm actually from Detroit, Michigan. So born and raised. So he was saying, well, connect with him. And we never got a chance to connect. This was about a week out from the event. Still hadn't heard of it. And so another friend of mine, because I'm always watching different YouTube channels, Info Sheet, all of the elders, I'm pretty much just clicking and clicking just to gain more knowledge and understanding of this African spirituality. So a video of Dr. Boyce was sent to me, and it was a video that I really wasn't even interested in. And when I run into some stuff like that, I normally just cut it off. So at this time, I fast forward the video, and it so happened that it was Dr. Boyce. It was his video, and he had the Hapi movement. And I seen that the conference was supposed to take place in Egypt. And when I seen it was in Detroit, because I was asking these brothers on the channel I was watching, I'm saying, man, do y'all do live seminars and stuff like that? Because I want to be in the room with these like-minded people. And they were saying, no, they don't, and all that stuff. So then the week later following, I seen this Hapi conference, and they're coming to Detroit. And I was like, oh, I got to be here. I'm awakening up. I've been asleep too long. I haven't, I slept on brother, Elder Rogbako Sheedy, Joseph Ben Yakin, Dr. Ben Clark. And I'm like, I cannot miss seeing Dr. Jeffries and him and his wife and Professor James Small. I could not miss. So the first day when I seen it, and I didn't get my ticket. But when I woke up the next day, it was like an anxiety to me. I woke up like, girl, why you ain't got this ticket? It's going to be sold out. And I immediately went online and purchased my ticket from the link that Dr. Boyce had set up. So it was just actually ended up sitting behind the guy that the man that Greg Asar, the brother that Reginald told me to sit behind, and not even knowing when he got up out of his seat. I said, Dr. Boyce? He's like, no, I wish. And he said, my name is Greg Asar. And I was like, I know him. And he went to the restroom. He came back, and I said, you're the brother that the man was telling me to hook up with on YouTube. And I showed him the conversation we were having on YouTube about him. So again, this is just a divine experience. I'm so grateful and thankful to be there. I took a picture with all the celebrities. I didn't get a chance to hear Dr. Motley because it was a mix-up on the second day. I had the information that it would start at 4. I'm calling myself walking in at 3, and y'all all going and everything. I was so upset, like, so, but and walked in the first day and met Felicia, just so nice. Just took a picture of me, just open. Those were the superstars for me. It wasn't the Wills, and I can't wait to go to Egypt and everything with you all, and get my picture with Taki, Dr. Harris. I got my picture with Asar. Felicia got with you and the rest of you guys. So again, Ashe and thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, every time I saw you, girl, you were smiling. We were all smiling.
Yeah.
Everybody was smiling. Like, you just couldn't help but smiling. And I was like, you were so happy. I was like, oh, she happy like me.
Oh my God. I was buying book after books and videos after videos. It was just, I'm ready. I'm ready to put the road to the rubber now and actually the place I even worship in is shaped like a pyramid. So all of this was just unique. I don't know if you can see this picture or not, and you can't, but it's shaped. It even has the salt in the North Chamber in this place I worship in. So it's called Lifeline Christian Center in Detroit, Michigan. But I can't wait to see what's next and be a part of it. So as far as my finances or whatever, my time, I'm here, Felicia. Let me know what I can do.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is what, it's people like you that make us want to just keep going.
Please.
Like literally. Like that's.
Yes. People like Keisha. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brother Panther, what's on your mind, brother? How's everything? What's your experiences in the conference?
Lafayette Mandala, Baby Fahudie, health, power, and African liberation, first and foremost. I was honored to be a part of this panel. I was happy to be able to attend. I echo Brother Asar's sentiments that the people were one of the best parts of the conference, because you do this work, you put out, publications, you make videos, you go around the country speaking, and you're never quite sure of your impact until you're just standing somewhere and someone's so excited to meet you, because of what you've said, what you've done, the impact you've had on their lives. So that was one of the best parts of the conference to me. And I'm always honored to be amongst the elders that have dedicated their lives to African liberation, African scholarship, Afrocentricity, and Pan-Africanism. It's always a treat. Sister Bayanaya Bello was on fire. Being that I'm an Ogun priest, her Ogun chant, it spoke to me, because I've heard something similar in the Yoruba tradition. So coming from Haitian Voodoo, her culture, to mine, I was able to identify, and it resonated with me. So that was great. Brother Asar, always on fire, always doing his thing. But he did something I never saw him do before, because I have all Asar's books, except for your first one, your first poetry book. It's the only one I don't have. But he connected the historical comparative linguistics piece to a formula, a mathematical formula that made it simple for everybody to understand. And then he engaged in an exercise where we were able to guess the connections of the next word depending upon the sound correspondences that he laid forth. And I thought that was excellent, because everybody guessed the next meanings of the previous word, because we were so engaged and we got what he was saying. And I'd never seen him do that before. So I thought that was great that he put that out to the people. And the Thanos quote, that just hit home for me, because as long as there are those that remember what once was, then it can never go back. It can never go back to the way that they want it to go. They cannot continue to push the narrative that they want to push, because we remember we are those descendants. It is in our DNA, and we're not just going to go, quietly into the night and let them write the narrative and rewrite history. So that was impactful. And Sister Ali is always, just common sense relationships, but it resonated with everyone. Everyone was engaged. Everybody got what she was saying. Just basic things between relationships between an African man and woman. And I just love to hear her speak every single time. So I was, honored to attend. honored to be around, you know, the greats, and you know, I was just glad that I made the trip from North Carolina. I did not go into Canada like Brother Asar. Fortunately, my GPS was a little better, but other than that, you know, I had a great time.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh, and one last thing. It was special for me to get my Pan-African journal that I've published into the hands of our best, brightest, and our elders. James Smalls, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Bayan Ayabello, and actually Bayan Ayabello and I met a year prior in Atlanta, Georgia at the Abakokin Soon Soon Festival that Marimba Annie puts on every year. And I bought her book, She Rose of the Haitian Revolution there. So I wanted to pay it forward because that was her last copy. She wasn't in a position to sell books and she let me get it. So I paid it forward in this conference and gave her the copy of my publication, Killmonger's Corner, Volume 2, which is a Pan-African journal of the Afrocentric and African community. So that was special for me just to be able to put my journal in the hands of the people that have dedicated their lives to Afrocentricity.
And yo, his journal is dope. I was like looking through this, and I'm flipping through. I'm like, damn, this is almost like the Hapi newsletter. And I'm thinking this brother needs to write for the Hapi newsletter. And I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, wait. The African Superhighway of Wisdom by Asar Imhotep. I'm like, okay, like Asar, the articles in this is dope. I called Asar. I was like, yo, Asar, I need Black Panther's number, you know, because this journal, I was so happy looking at this. I mean, I don't understand why people need to know about this journal. You have everyone up in here writing. And I was talking to Black Panther about this. One day I was over at Dr. Jeffries' house, and you know, he brings this different little treats out every time you come over. And so he showed me this journal that him, Ivan Van Sertima, Ranoka Rashidi, they all had just articles. And he put them together. And he's like, yeah, we used to just write things and then send it to everyone. I was like, what? So I'm looking through it, and that's why I told Black Panther, I was like, I'm looking through this thinking, oh my God, this is like the same thing. You have some of the biggest, brightest names in this journal. So
thank you. It was inspired by a broadcast Asar Imhotep was having with brother Siri McDougal, Daka Kilimanjaro, and Lasana Hotep, where Siri McDougal put out the call. He said, we need more journals of Pan-African studies. We need more Afrocentric journals. We have Journal of Pan-African Studies, but that's not enough. We need more. We need people to put those together. And as he put out that charge, that call, I said to myself, I think I can pull that off. I know enough people that are doing great works and embracing the Hapi principles in their lives to put out something like that. So that inspired me to reach out and put out the call to the community. They reciprocated and sent me, you know, everything from journals to poetry to, you know, artwork to, you know, many different things. And, you know, that's our second volume and we're going to keep it going.
Yeah. And, you know, in this, which is really dope, is that you have Black businesses listed. Homo sapiens are not the final product of biological evolution by Michael Pope. Like you really, you laid some stuff down in this thing. I put the link in the chat, guys, for you just to click on and get this, because this is exactly, you know, this is kind of like the way you came with this journal is like how I felt like this conference was going. You know, it was practical information, and these elders were giving us, scholars were giving us practical information for us to do. I mean, Dr. Falou was like, you're going to do it right now. Here's my number. But, you know, just, you know, you answered a call. So this is dope.
Absolutely. I'm
thank you.
Working on volume 3. So stay tuned for that. And I'm just happy to be a part of the panel. Thank you all for all that you do. Brother Taki, Sister Brittany, Queen Mother and her husband, Sister Keisha, Brother Ken, and Sister Felicia. I thank you all for doing work like this, because people don't understand how much sacrifice hard work, dedication, and determination it takes, you know, to stop what you're doing on your regular every day-to-day basis to create a conference and, you know, put all these things together, and the film and going to Africa and the finances. So you're doing the ancestors' work. So thank you all.
When you seeing all that.
It don't seem like a lot when you're doing it, but when you look back, you're like, oh my God, I gotta get all this together. Yeah.
The next
crazy people doing all of that.
The next steps for yours truly, I will formulate our mobile classroom. The business is called Ma'at Sankofa, an African learning temple. It will be a mobile school bus, and I've explained the concept to Dr. Ken Harris. The school bus will be wrapped in the facade of Queen Hatshepsut's temple on the outside. And on the inside, when you enter into this classroom environment, you will be greeted by a hologram of one of our great pharaohs or scholars or whomever we make that hologram to be. And the interior of the school bus will be designed like the inside of a pyramid, the hieroglyphs and the papyrus. And the ceiling of the bus will be our galaxy, our universe. And we'll be able to teach cosmology and astrology and metaphysics from within the school bus. And we'll be able to trick it out to travel around Tampa Bay initially, so that we help fill the gap of those of our people that do not have the information that we share during this conference. And I will invite the scholars to come and do their presentations to local schools and private schools and libraries. We'll park the bus, we'll teach the people, because that's what I've been given. The divine spirit told me that our people are dying from a lack of information. They're starving. So I must help fill that gap. So once I get that school bus, I will keep you all abreast of the steps that we take and invite you to come out and be a part of this experience on the school bus, because it will be unique. It will be one of a kind at the beginning. And we can travel to Detroit once again with a school bus. But I also wanted to take us back to day one when the drummers started. That set the tone, the drummers, then we had the dancers, and then we had the libations, and we had the call to the ancestors. That set the entire stage for the day one. And I will never forget that. Never, ever forget that experience. The gala, my relationship with Runoko Rashidi, the award presentation, Felicia, you were beautiful. The plaque with Brother Runoko Rashidi. Oh my goodness, my experience with him, I would drive him around Los Angeles and hang out with him at the Getty Museum because the brother didn't drive. But I would go and pick him up, and we would travel around the city looking at. He taught me how to find the Black presence in the museums, and he was a phenomenal individual. And he came to visit me before he made his transition in a visit, a night vision, and he was waving goodbye to me. And when I awakened, I'm like, "Who is that brother? Little short, stocky guy." I'm like, "What's going on?" And then a week later, I hear that he had made his transition and he had come to say goodbye to me. And that was very special. So that presentation, that award, those 3 awards that you gave come with a spirit of true love. And his spirit was there in every aspect. So I can't find all the words to explain how exceptional the speakers doing the Sankofa, going back and learning our history, bringing it forward. Dr. Small, I've been on this Sankofa since 1992. I have been a part of ASCAP. I have studied and I have learned, and I have no degrees in any regard, but I must teach. I must help fill the gap for those that need to know our history, because it's vital. It's our survivorship. And so I will come to any conference anywhere in the world with Hapi.
Oh, well, that's like a commercial. So listen, guys, I put, you know, that's the thing. See, our Hapi presenters, they're so like modest. They ain't, you know, saying, here's my website. So we got to put these things in here. So, you know, Miss Allen is actually, she's raising money. She's a GoFundMe. I just happened to be on your page maybe a night. Yeah. And I was like, why didn't you tell me about this? So anyway, I put it in the chat. So you guys should definitely contribute. See, this is what we're talking about in terms of this Hapi thing. You know, it's literally, you know, about those 4 principles. So when you're doing something in alignment with those Hapi movement principles, like, we want to know about it. We want to make sure that everyone knows what the other one is doing so we can support in some type of way. You know, money is great. Resources, you know, the access, like all those things are great. And we all have that potential to share it with each other. So,
Indeed.
You know.
And I did send my business plan to Dr. Harris.
Okay. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what's up. Okay, guys. Well, you know, just thank you so much for signing on. I think now we're going to try to get to some of our call-in callers.
Okay.
You know, they are waiting, but thank you so much, and can't wait to hang out with you, Alan. And Andre, that's what's up. You driving, what, 17 hours?
There and back.
Seems like forever.
Did you take a break? Wait, did you take a break? Did y'all stop someplace to take a break, or you just kept moving?
We kept moving.
You know what? Listen, between you and Ntuology, right after Ntuology wrapped up, and I thought he was like gonna, just relax in a hotel. No, he literally at the end of the conference, he packed up all his stuff and they got on the road and was like in New York, like by morning.
Well, he wanted to leave early, but Taki says, "No, I'm going to talk to Brenda." So we stayed.
That's what's up. Yeah, get some little rest before y'all roll out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Allen. Thank you, Keisha.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Ashe.
You guys on the We'll see you guys later. All right. Peace.
Bye-bye now.
Hey guys, so we wanted to, as we transition to the next phase of this discussion tonight, people who were not in Detroit and have a chance to be in that building, those people who are on the live stream, want to give you guys an opportunity to call in and kind of share your moments with watching it with yourself and your families there at home. Also want to just take a moment also to acknowledge someone that was a part of the experience. He was in this picture with the sister Keisha there, and that's a girl Taika Isaacs, who came from Boston, and people were just coming in from all over the place, and definitely Taika Isaacs is a huge part of everything that we're doing. So
her pictures are
shout out, hats off to her. People definitely came in from all around the world and definitely loving the building. So several folks been trying to call throughout the night, and we weren't ready for that. So it's a time now when you got a moment and you want to you saw the conference and you want to kind of speak to your experiences. Now's the time to give us a call. We would love to hear what your guys' thoughts. There's Dr. J right there. Oh. And also just want to mention as well, here I have with me one of the, we didn't talk about the commemorative book, the One Africa, Power and Unity book. Beautiful presentation for all those who contributed to this. Thank you. Such a marvelous piece of work.
Hold it up, Taki.
Definitely representation of all of the Black businesses. People took out the ads here, and it's such a beautiful thing. And we can kind of go page by page. Here's the image of the actual gallery.
You need to say what people were doing with the books. People were taking the books. Tell people to stop taking the books.
Yeah, it was like we were giving out, one for every attendee, but people were taking several out, and just an expression of Black Wall Street. all these Black businesses that added on to this. So it's just wow. Definitely shout out to all those that contributed to make this a reality. And again, the One Africa Power and Unity Conference.
Yeah. So, and the thing about the books, guys, everyone who put in an ad will get a copy of the book. We're making a reprint. We have to make more copies of that book. So you will definitely get if you put an ad in there, you will definitely get a copy of that book. So do not fret. Don't worry. We're not trying to roll out without giving you all the One Africa books. You will absolutely get a copy of that book. Yeah. Yep, right there. All right, Mr. Grant. Anybody calling in?
Yeah, we have someone with us right now. Peace and Black Power. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, I'm Angelica.
You speak up. Speak up quite. Angelica, you speak up just a little bit.
All right. I'm Angelica from London, UK.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Yes, my sister and I were at the live stream, and we really enjoyed it. We were surprised. We wasn't expecting it to be so big and so organized, and it was spot on. It came at the right time. It was professionally done. I don't know what else I can say, but there was one point where Mrs. Jeffries mentioned something about some biblical quote about the tree and what the Messiah did with the tree, the fig tree. And over the years, I always had this thing in my mind: what does that actually mean? And why did he do that? And then all of a sudden, she comes out and explains it so well. And I thought, wow, after all these years, I've got my twin sister here. After all these years, we've been discussing it and we've never understood that scripture. And she just laid it out plain and straight. And I can't wait to get a hold of the video to go back and dissect every little element of the 2-day event. It was absolutely fantastic. And Asar with his dissection of the connections between the languages, etc. It was like an aha moment. I understand it. For both my sister and I, we both understood what he was saying. It was fantastic. And of course, the lady from Germany, that was amazing as well.
Oh wow! Thank you, Angelique. Thank you so much for that. And yes, we're going to put out the video very soon. We're working diligently on it, and we will make the announcement to everyone when it's available. And it's definitely a study guide for all those who were there, who watched, and who did not watch or who was not there. It's something we need to have in our collections. So thank you very much for that. And we just want to say thank you for being a part of this, and peace.
Peace. Thank you.
Call from.
Okay, caller, peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
And your name?
Tanika Hoskins.
Hey, Tanika, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
We're doing well.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm excited. I was at the oh my God, I'm on TV.
Yeah, did you tell her she's on air?
Yes. You are live. Tanika?
No, I wasn't aware on no air. I know now.
Okay.
This is amazing. I am ecstatic. Like, I cannot even sit down. I'm in my room. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good gracious me. This is amazing.
What's on your mind, Tanika? What you want to share with us about the conference?
I just want to share how grateful I am to experience this whole ordeal. Like, it was mind-blowing. It was
I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. Like,
Well, we want to say thank you for being a part of the experience, and we will let you know also that we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I am going to purchase the tape once it comes out because I need it. I just need it for my personal collection.
Yes, definitely. We all do. Absolutely.
I didn't know that this was going to happen like this. I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't know, but it's amazing. Hi, Felicia.
What's up, girl? How you doing? You know what? Listen, I am feeling your energy. I feel like I'm listening to like 97.
All right, then. All right, Tanika. We thank you. We'll be in touch, okay?
Call from?
My name is Bomani.
Okay, Bomani.
Peace, Bomani. How you doing? Where you calling from, Bomani?
Tell them that they on air.
I'm calling from Detroit.
Detroit. What's up, Bomani? Detroit in the building. Go ahead, good Bomani. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, well, I was there last weekend, and the experience was just, I mean, it was a spiritual experience. I mean, I hear James Smalls talking all the time about how we're spirits having a human experience, or humans having a spiritual experience. I'm not even sure which one it is. Maybe it's both. But I certainly felt a lot of energy in the room. I was impressed with all the speakers and the vendors. I think I spent a lot of money up in that place. But I'm the kind of person who definitely goes out of my way, even if it's inconvenient, to support Black businesses. And hopefully people will inspire to do the same thing. The people who tuned into the whole conference, and the people who were there, was just, the energy was just amazing. I mean, the ancestors were in the room, everything, you just had everything going on at the right time. And I certainly felt like I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to, y'all to leave. I wanted y'all to continue to do this, but I know you have to go on to other stuff. But Detroit has a very strong African-centered community, and a lot of people talked about the fact that they wish they had been there. But you also gave award to Malik Yakini, who's a close friend of mine, and he's doing some wonderful things here in Detroit. And we're all trying to do some wonderful things in Detroit, trying to get this place together from some of the serious issues that we're facing here in Detroit. But the spirit that was going on down there, it just it helped energize me. Not that it really takes that much more, but every little bit helps from the spirit of our ancestors, and people come together in true African-centered form. I mean, this was a truly African-centered experience for me. And I appreciate it, and I can't wait till the next time you decide to do this. I'm sure it'll be bigger and better.
Thank you, Brother Bomani. Thank you. Powerful words. Yes, definitely. Spirit of our ancestors were there and energized us. Oh man, it was such a beautiful experience, and I can't wait till the next time. So I ain't trying to plan it no time soon, but definitely looking forward to another conference.
Yeah, people were asking that a lot. Like on after the first day, they're like, "When's the next one?" And I kept saying, I was like, "This is just like we just had an infant. Like the baby just came out. Like the baby need to walk for a minute before we can start talking about another baby. Like we need to let this just kind of, just marinate for a minute, and so we can get our minds right, so we can come back bigger and better."
Yes,
So
definitely.
DJ, you got some more calls?
Yeah, there's some more coming through, but I want to screen a couple of them. I just want to get Dr. Harris take on doing another conference and where he thinks it'd be a good location.
Man, that's I always believe that it's important to have a plan, and now that you have set the foundation, what is the strategy, and moving forward? So I think one, hearing from the community with this particular piece, having the focus groups around how to better and sharpen the toolkit, And then most importantly, establishing the technology to engage and continue to build the foundation that you have laid, I think is important. And then I think from there, with the mass amount of following that the Hapi movement has now mobilized across the country, you can assess that membership, that subscription, that paid participant, and really get an idea on where they would like to see the conference in the future. Detroit has a very special demographic. Myself being a Detroit native, born and raised in the city of Detroit. I reside in DC now, but my home is still in Detroit, and my parents are still there. It's an 80% Black city in population. 80% of the 62,000 Black, 80% of the 62,000 SMEs or small medium enterprises with EIN numbers are Black. So you have a large concentration of entrepreneurship. And I think if you follow other statistics across the country, the top 5 places for Black businesses in terms of amount of a demographic being mobilized is Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta. And then you start looking at other Black metropolises. I think Brother Asar's city, Philadelphia, has a unique Black business culture there, and Afrocentric community to support it. And so I think this type of thing with the hybrid scenario allows us to really do some unique things in the future. And like I said, in today where, I mentioned in my presentation that the revolution will not be televised, it will be digitized. And so, you have the ability to have an event where it was standing room only, like in the city of Detroit. But I believe you're going to touch millions of people afterwards. And so the next conference, let's get back behind the scene and pull it apart, put it back together, allow the ancestors and the elders to, really, feed into the spirit that was already driven, assess the lecturers, and those folk who travel the world, like Brother Asar, who's on this panel right now, but all the great speakers. And, let's continue to go upward. And like I said, the foundation, Taki, what was placed inside of you as a vision, that you manifested with action. And now you got the economic principles in place. I think I talked about things, conferences like this should be underwritten, right? So it should receive both public and private sector support, right? Because it's educational curriculum associated with it. So you have Black studies programs all across this country with budgets. How can they write a check, right, to make this event sustainable, and lecturers to pay for different foundations who may want to see this type of education going on as well, and also African American museums across the country. So there's a unique opportunity from a monetizing standpoint to monetize this event, because at the same time too, learning from our ancestors, learning from our elders, you just don't want to be poor and broke and continuing to do this event out of the goodness of your heart and coming out of your pocket. I think you all have a unique opportunity to really monetize and scale this event, and the Hapi film movement, the Hapi movement period. And if you scale it properly, adding the technology, this is here to stay.
Yeah, we always go back to the foundation, economics, politics, and culture, and that's what it has to be about. So, people, we have our last caller tonight, someone who's been a part of this movement from the beginning. He just called in, and we want to hear from this brother. I'll let him introduce himself to the family here tonight. Good, brother. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Joel Sylvain calling from Tampa, Florida.
All right, brother. Peace. What's on your mind?
Man, I just want to say I want to congratulate every single person that was involved with this beautiful presentation and historic event. There was something to take away from every single presenter. It was like going back to school. You know, now we are the next generation of the new type of pyramid, in that you guys really brought together all the elders and the reunion with the ancestors to really energize us to move forward in the 21st and 22nd century. And so I just want to kind of keep encouraging you guys to do this. And I think what's going to be more imperative is to have more of our educators that are involved in HBCUs to make sure that they're involved with this conference, so that they can impart some of their resources, and even the PWIs to do the same. You know, make sure that we encourage our African American studies, and really build on this Hapi movement, because it takes all of us for us to really push this forward. I mean, just to talk from Baina Bello to, Professor Smalls to Asar. I mean, just everyone. It was just like Asar said, the Avengers. So, let's really build on this momentum. Let's put thought into action. That's what it's really all about. So we got to make sure that when this video is out, that we are doing study groups, that we are sharing the reason why we need to do this, that why we need to be united, why we need to save money to go to Ghana and visit Professor Smalls and Dr. Jeffries' hotel in Ghana, and how we need to support them, and how we need to visit Egypt and visit all the parts of Africa and find your ancestry. So this is just the beginning, guys. I know we're excited, but we got a lot more work to do. So let's go get it.
My man. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, Joe. We'll be in touch with you. All right?
All right.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Definitely want to give a big shout out to Dr. Alicia Watkins. Standing next to her brother was also in the same picture with Professor Smalls. That's Professor Gershon Williams. Powerful brother. He also wrote the abstract in the conference book with for Dr. Obenga. So this is definitely someone we need to get to know. If you don't know this brother, please look him up on social media. So with that said, we'll just go through the panel quickly and see if anyone has anything they want to share. Last words. Start with you, Dr. Motley.
I would just say thank you all. Excited for this journey. And one thing that I did forget to share is just one of my favorite stories that Dr. Jeffries told was just about how he met you, Taki. And he says, like, you were in awe of this being a scholar, but he was in awe of you. And I think that's just so powerful, that while we're, kind of starstruck by the leaders leading this work, they are equally starstruck by us. And so we just have to continue to unite to bridge this gap.
Yeah, Dr. Jeffries is definitely a special soul. He's an amazing person. And Professor Smalls always called him an angel. And that's really powerful words coming from Professor Smalls and him to call somebody an angel. And he also refers to Dr. Jeffries as an angel. Very special person. Sar?
Peace and blessings. Yes. I don't really have, much to say, but just want to give love and light to everyone who was involved in this particular project. And of course, especially knowing behind the scenes and the trolls and just the environment which caused it to be, but everything in its divine order. You can't stop what was meant to be, to put it lightly. And so it is a testimony to your to everyone's hard work, your tenacity, your ability to adapt, and it's just I'm just very appreciative to be a part of this history that is emerging, and when I and elder looking at my grandkids. Said, yeah, I was there. I saw da 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 and da 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 and that da 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 da. You lying? No, I'm not lying. Da 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 da. You know, it's these moments that you don't think it's history, but this will connect to something else that will connect to something else that is really big. And then when we look at it in the grand scheme of things, we'll see that this is definitely some ancestral energy, and that was just making sure that these testimonies, these insights, these connections were to be made, because there's something bigger ahead. And again, you can't stop what's already divinely ordered. And so thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this movement, and I appreciate everything that y'all are doing, and continue the good work.
We appreciate you as well, Brother Asar. You had to be a part of it. To me, you were one of the anchors of the conference, and I had to make sure that you were there to share your insights, to share your knowledge on linguistics, such a huge part of the discussion. And I want to make sure that going forward is something that is fostered in especially in what we're doing. Dr. Harris.
Man, two things I'm gonna say is this is the crossover, like Dr. Tata mentioned. And in that crossover, every generation is assisted by the ancestors in the spirit to do divine work. And right now, what you've assembled are some amazing, talented spirits who are doing the work. And this is not something for gratitude. This is not something to be patted on the back. This is the continuation of a long struggle and fight towards freedom. And so this is not only the scenario and foundation that is put in place, but we are now here to restore Ma'at in the lives of others and offset Esafet. And it's real in these streets. And we got to touch the streets. And the beautiful thing about this entire experience is that you brought both the intellectual community, the conscious community, and the streets together. And when we can combine our efforts and we can come together again with no ego attached to it, only love, and it's centered around the principles that our ancestors ruled the world for generations, this thing is already on a trajectory towards uplifting and liberating and empowering our people. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. Taki, we have to give our hat off to you. You had the vision flowed through you. You assembled two unbelievably talented Black queens to assist you in this journey. They delivered for you. You assembled a network of the elders and scholars like Brother Asar that's on this panel today. And that's why we are here talking about this foundation that's been laid so that we can do the work. We have to do the work. And this is the crossover.
The crossover. I hear that. Sister Felicia, what's on your mind?
Yeah, you know what? I just keep thinking about something that Sister Tata said. And I'm going to be on her show next Friday, where we're going to really, kind of just dissect this even more. And actually, all month, we're going to be sitting down with some of the presenters and just talking to them about what does this One Africa mean for them now that they've presented, and what did their presentations, what were they thinking when they were saying certain things? Because we were blown away. But one of the